down to sunny Florida and Gary Rogers.
Thank you, Scott. It is sunny today, blue skies and lots of sun. But thank you, ladies, for sharing. I mean, I honestly, this isn't really an easy conversation, like a lot of this that's going on. And I was just, to be honest with you, I'm a little nervous even asking my question. I'm not sure why that is, but it has something to do with myself. Like I, grew up playing sports, and I played sports for most of my life until I was 29. And, I'm just thinking about the sports teams that I played on. You get out on the field and you make plays and you just do your thing. And at the end, the coach makes a decision. Are you a starter, or are you going to make the team or not, based off of, how well you play? And, it didn't matter if, I'm white playing an outside linebacker position, or if I was black, or it didn't matter what color you look like. It didn't matter if you're tall, if you're short, if you're strong, if you're not. The bottom line was, if you can make plays and help the team get the most wins, that's the reason why you're going to be either a starter or either maybe make the team. And then when I play professionally, of course, that's the bottom line. It's all about wins. It wasn't about, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? It's really about this like team, are you best fit for the team? And so my question really is, what are your thoughts? Because, in the sports world, it looks like the best players are making the teams, but they're not looking at color of skin and all these other things. Whereas in business, it seems like maybe they go a different route. Now, both of them are businesses, but anyway, I don't know if I asked that right, or if you guys have anything.
I think it's a phenomenal question.
I can respond, or Ginnette, you also came off mute. So
you go first and then I'll add.
Yeah, Gary, it's a great question, but I think that we can talk about the business of sports, which is overwhelmingly male dominated and mostly white men. And so if we believe that truly the most qualified people and the only people qualified or the best people are all white men, I think we're fooling ourselves, right? Like, it's not true that the best people in business all look a certain way or mostly look a certain way. So if that's not true, what else is going on? And so we need to really, going back to those norms, values, and practices, evaluate them to see how they are not actually allowing us to identify talent that is outside of our preconceived notions of what talent looks like. So going back to referral programs that Ginnette mentioned, most people refer people that look like them. Referrals are great, but if you're only referring people that are in your small network of people you hang out with or people who've done this kind of work before, you're very likely to miss out on people who are also very well qualified and have something to add to your business, because you're just not looking for them. You haven't set up a condition where they are seeing the posting that you have or are able to apply. In sports, a lot of times we think about how we value industry experience, and we kind of overvalue it in some ways. And so if you're only ever hiring people who have this experience, and the only people who have this experience look a certain way, you will only ever hire people who look a certain way. And it assumes that you are, that other people can't do the job or not as good. So I think that if you assume that everyone has come to the table equally and that we don't have any bias in how we look at things, then sure, just picking the best person is the best way to do it. But that's not the reality of things. There is bias. If we only hire from Stanford, people are going to look a certain way. And that's what a lot of businesses have done and how they've approached hiring. And so I think that's sort of the difficulty with that premise. Ginnette, I don't know.
Yeah, I would add to that I think this is actually where where equity really starts to come in, and you got to start to look at people's starting points. I think your question is an excellent one, and I think it comes up. We see different facets of this. When I try to explain, this concept to my 8-year-old, he loves soccer, and so, I sort of said, how would it be if, you played another team, but you and your teammates had to play soccer with, you know, your arms tied behind your back, right? Like how successful do you think that you would actually be? And in sort of a commercial example, my boss, when we used to hire people, when we first came out to the States, you know, he really wanted this academic pedigree, GPA to be, you know, at a certain level. And, you know, as we interviewed people and you start to see the difference of, okay, well, their parents paid for college for them. They didn't have to work. And now I've just interviewed somebody who held down 3 jobs while studying for their degree, and no, their GPA wasn't you know, a 3.9 or whatever, but look at what they actually accomplished in order to get their degree. And when I would see people going out the door and being kind of rejected at the gates without actually looking and thinking, well, when this person actually has had all of this privilege, that's great, and we don't begrudge it, but you know, you have to calibrate that is not people starting on a level playing field. And so when I think about, you know, your original question, it's sort of just assuming that everybody has got the same advantages and the same kind of opportunity. And that's why I think equity is a choice, right? Because you get to decide, and hopefully we decide the right way, you know, how we're gonna solve for the fact that we don't all have the same starting point.
Question.